First of all, before I describe the mandala that I chose and the colors, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed this class this summer. It just made me more aware of myself and how I hopefully will be as a counselor and just as a person overall. But the one that I chose had a center core, but also had some areas that were intertwined in the middle, and I'll talk about that, but I chose it for that reason. The center of mine that's pink, I chose as my spiritual component. It's a small piece as far as on the mandala, but it is the center. It's very central in my life, and it had reflections or little areas pointing out of the center that were also, I did pink because it also radiates out to all the other components of myself. Just as I wrote on my module for that week, for that discussion board, I said I've always been a church attendee with my family and growing up and everything. But about 12 or 13 years ago, I met a friend who just had so much joy in her life and praised God for all her blessings, and just really, had something that I wanted. It was very contagious, and so I spent a lot of time with her, and just kind of it changed my views on when I was going to church. I wasn't just sitting there necessarily. I was trying to, to worship more. Still 13 years later, I'm definitely not, I fall short every day, and I work on it every day, but it just keeps everything in my life in perspective. And if I don't start out reading my Bible in the morning, my whole day does seem to be off a little bit. The next color that goes outside of the pink is the light green, and I put that as my emotional, and I put it right after spiritual because for me they go hand in hand. The stronger my spiritual identity, the more I can understand my emotions and interact with my emotions and deal with them a little bit more effectively. Now I jump to the outside of my mandala for the next one, which is the yellow. It's the largest one, and that's my contextual, which is more of my environment, physical and social environment. It's where I would spend most of my time. This summer, obviously, it's more at home since I'm a teacher or counselor, and in the fall, it's home and work. This year, I'll be going to a new school and a new job, so I'm very excited and I'm very nervous. But it's a big part of my life, and how I adapt to that environment is a big part. I'm going to skip the green, as I explained, and go to the royal blue. So that'll be the third color from the outside. And this is my intellectual component. Being an educator, this drives who I am most of the time. My research, my reading, my writing, it takes up a great deal of time. And, of course, that has to do with graduate school as well. Now, the color in the middle, I placed there for a reason. That's the green. And I place it in between the intellectual and the contextual, and that's my interactional. I place it in the middle because I'm a very social person, and with work environment and with home environment, with intelligence and contextual, it's a big part of my life. My skills are enhanced by others. I try to talk to lots of people each day and learn from others, and my relationships in my life are very important to me, whether they're at home or at work. The last three are intertwined together. I have orange for nutrition, tan for physical, and violet for sensual. These are all areas in my life that I need to work on, so I put them as the smallest part, and they're intertwined together. I know what I need to do in those three areas, especially nutrition and physical, but I always justify my reasons for not eating well or for not exercising that day. But I understand my body and understand how good I feel when I do those things and how bad I feel when I don't. I even have an app for the food and exercise, and I'm pretty honest with it, but it doesn't always change what I do. Now, when I am on board with my nutrition and exercise, then the sensual comes into play, because when I feel better, I'm more in the here and now, so more aware of my surroundings, more aware of what I'm listening to and different environments, and that really relieves my anxiety. But all these activities have been very enjoyable, and I have learned a great deal about myself.